Episode 21. We made it through 21 episodes of like. Oh wow!
There's only one way to start this episode. It's na 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 na. Hey, goodbye, Bob.
I'm gonna have to clean up that audio, man.
Sorry, I can't sing, but I had to do it because good effing riddance to bad rubbish.
You know, he didn't inherit like the world, like over, like just as everything shut down. But every single move Chapek has made has just been one bad move to top the next one.
I told Rebecca yesterday that I think that Iger had some sort of inside knowledge of what the hell was going to happen to the world, and he retired and threw Chapek in there basically under the bus. So that way, after everything was back to kind of normal, he could be popped back in. I'm back.
They were
clean everything the hell up.
That's real Illuminati right there. That's real Illuminati.
I mean,
he's deep diving into the interwebs. I know that Chapek and Iger he set him up because they were friendly. They were friends, I guess. But man, Chapek just can't. So like. I was listening to somebody, I don't remember who at this point, but they were like, look, everything Disney does with the monetization of like upcharging is exactly what like Universal does in Florida, except they bundle it so that it's easier to swallow. So like Orlando, Florida, Universal's doing very similar things, but they're making it an easier pill to swallow. Man, Chapek has just been like, oh, you don't like it? Sucks to suck. Sorry about that.
The thing that most people don't remember about Chapek, is that he was in charge of Disneyland before he got this job as CEO. And those of us who have gone to Disneyland pre-60th or post-60th saw the changes that started to happen at Disneyland because of Chapek being in charge of Disneyland. Starting with the debacle of the that was his call on the 24-hour party to close the gates of Disneyland and lock them and not let anybody park hop in the evening of the 24-hour party, and all those people that got stuck over at DCA in the evening, and Disneyland became an effing ghost town. And that was his call. He made that call. And nobody even really thinks about that. Shit's on him. He caused that whole F up on the 60th 24-hour party, and that was him. I mean, he's the one that caused Galaxy's Edge to become not what it was supposed to be originally. All that stuff that we saw, the cool designs and stuff, and the Bantha ride, and the 3 times bigger cantina. That's all stuff that Chapek was like, nah, we don't need that. Nah, let's make that cheaper. He's the one that basically stripped Galaxy's Edge down from cool to from amazing to, yeah, it's pretty good. Yeah, it's pretty good. But it could have been so much better. Yeah, well, I mean, Chapek, yes. That's where it should have started. I mean, that's where it probably did start. But yeah, so I mean, he had the AP parties disappeared. Anything that APs used to get perk-wise disappeared. That's all stuff that happened under his watch at Disneyland. So it should have been no surprise to anybody who was a Disneyland pass holder what he was going to bring to the company wide.
Was he in? He was in charge when that was. Remember hashtag Thanks Shanghai? Wasn't that him in charge?
Yeah, that was also him.
Well, I heard a rumor today that Josh D'Amaro could be coming up to like replace Iger, and to maybe getting groomed. And so I don't know any of these people. Like, I know a lot of people see him around the park. I gotta be honest, I couldn't pick these men out of a lineup, but I've not heard anything really negative about Josh D'Amaro. People who've met him seem to really like him, and there seems to be a lot of positivity around him. The idea, though, that Disney is going to become affordable again is ridiculous, because Iger increased prices and did all the same stuff too. He just did it with some magic on top, and it was palatable. So Disney will always be what it is. It's a capitalist machine, but you need to put some sugar on it. So like put some sugar on that shit and get people to really like what they're eating. And Chapek didn't do any of that.
Yeah, no,
this is a Disney podcast. You have to say a spoonful of sugar. Okay.
I was trying, Dan.
Iger came up with a spoonful of sugar. Chapek came up with a spoonful of rock salt. And I'm talking the big ass rock salt. He just wanted you to choke on that shit so that your throat started bleeding. Because I know you're picturing it, but that's how it is. Seeing how it felt having him in charge. Like it just feels like. I mean, I hate to use the euphemism, but you can cut it out if you want. But him being in charge of Disney for those years was the literal equivalent of like the Trump. There was like that parallel was there. And that's all I'll say about that. The parallel was there.
So, yeah, off we go into a new era. It's funny, actually. Yesterday, my brother sent me that article. Yeah, well, yeah, into the what's old is new again. My brother sent me that, and I was actually at a concert. It was a concert hall. It hadn't started yet, and I was like, "Oh crap!" And I actually happened to be with Dan, who I was like, "Hey, to check this out," and he's like, "Oh yeah," he's like, "Everybody." Because his wife has worked there for a number of years, and was like, everybody hated him when he was in charge of the parks. So when he got promoted, nobody was happy about that. And they haven't been.
His downfall is when he said that there was going to be rifts at Disney. He didn't mean the guy in the park. He didn't necessarily mean that they were going to tighten their belts at the people, in the park per se. He was talking about trimming the fat at a corporate level. And you don't do that. That makes enemies real quick. And it wasn't like he was on the most loved list. So the minute he started like rumbling that he was going to start cutting the fat at a corporate level, I think that was the death knell.
There was three things. There was that. There was the adults don't watch animation comment, which nobody at corporate level liked, because that was the one thing that Iger's good at, is making sure that they know that Disney is for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
When Chapek was not about the Disney is for everyone concept. And then there was in September at the end of the fourth quarter, or just recently at the fourth quarter earnings call, their earnings were down $1 million from Wall Street's projection, and Chapek didn't bat a freaking eyelash about it.
It was so bad. That earnings report.
He didn't bat a freaking eyelash about it, and the stock market responded to him not batting an eyelash by Disney stock dropping 12%, the largest in like years.
And it rose again this morning.
Yeah. I'm going to tell you this because I told somebody this. I was like, they did this on Sunday because the gifs of how are you going to get fired on your day off were going around.
Yeah.
And I said the reason they did this on a Sunday because they wanted that stock market to open with this information. They didn't want to be like this in the afternoon and have the stock market end with this information. They wanted people with that information in their hand. And I saw that overnight, before the bell had even rung, Disney stock had already risen to $100.
Yeah.
That's up about about almost $10 just overnight to well over just over $100 with the bell rang in the morning, and it might even be more now. I don't know.
We're looking down. I mean, it's not officially a recession, but we're looking down the barrel of a recession as we speak, and Disney knows it. And Disney is like, this guy's over here, making horrible decisions, and it wasn't even like, well, our earnings suck, but man, everyone loves Disney and they're super happy with every decision this guy's made. It's been like, people can't stand him. He's not likable. He's arrogant as hell. And now our stocks are plummeting. Oh, and he wants to cut corporate? No, you sit all the way down, Bobby boy, and you're out.
Yeah, because it's not like they didn't think that in June when they gave him a 3-year extension.
Well, but I don't think they did. I think in June, especially, so, corporations are all about the bottom line. And in June, the economy was not as bad as it is now. The earnings report wasn't as bad as it was now. The fourth quarter report was absolute garbage. And the stocks weren't where they are, where they were on Friday. And so when you add all that stuff together, the board got together and they're like, you know what? We're done. And from what I was reading, they had talked to Bob Iger on Friday, obviously, saying like, hey, this is where we're at and this is what we want. And then for Chapek, they did what any good corporate would do. They gave him the opportunity to they voluntold him to resign.
I don't think anybody's not going to believe that that's what happened.
Oh yeah,
it was an interesting chain of events too, because there's also conspiracy going around because apparently Taylor Swift was seen at Lucasfilm on Friday.
Know nothing about this.
Yeah, I don't know. Lucasfilm employees confirm on Twitter that she was there on Friday. So there's a conspiracy that she had something to do with it. But no, that's just a joke. But what is not a joke is that more than
hold on. Before you move, don't get me started. Don't even get me started on Ticketmaster. You don't want to go there.
More than half of the Disney executives were on hand for the live Elton John performance at Dodger Stadium last night, and all received the email from corporate at the same time in their box seats at Dodger Stadium before the Elton John concert. The very Elton John concert that was supposed to have a recorded or live introduction from Bob Chapek that did not happen.
Oh yeah, because it was streamed on Disney Plus.
Yes,
I forgot about that
live stream, and there was no introduction from Mr. Chapek, but there was scheduled to have been a live introduction from Bob Chapek. So he was probably not even very a la. That's a be an obscure story, but what's his name? Josh Trank was supposed to have been at the closing ceremonies, or was supposed to have been in Celebration in 2015 because of the announcement of the Boba Fett movie, but then was notoriously told not to show up because his movie had been canned after his Fantastic Four movie sucked. But yeah, I think that Chapek got a similar thing. He was just called and told not to show up.
They gave him quite the golden parachute, though. So
yeah, I mean, and I think that 3-year extension helped the fact that he's there. He's going to get a very substantial severance package.
Yeah, I'm sure that let's just the rich get richer. I'm sure he's not going to be hurting for money, and I'm sure there's a company out there who'll want him. He definitely has an impressive resume.
I mean, I heard Twitter needs some people.
Oh Lord,
just a couple.
Maybe he could go replace what's his face, Zasloff or whatever the hell his name is over at Warner Brother Discovery, because that guy is next. Because that guy is just throwing Warner Brothers and just like throwing on the ground and just like stomping on it and being like, you know what, this company is dumb.
I think we've all worked for really bad bosses that just keep getting promoted, and you just keep thinking, is there a level at corporate high enough that this person isn't going to do any damage because they're absolute trash? Like, why are you promoting this?
I mean, we all know that there's no morality in business. It's all the bottom line, as you said. It's like when they don't care. It had nothing to do with. I mean, all of his different stances on things. It didn't matter to anybody. It's when they start losing money. That's when they're going to be like, let's bring back the guy that made them money. And then he has 2 years to try and find somebody who's going to make them money when he leaves again.
Right.
Yeah.
Because apparently that's the deal. Iger's there for 2 more years. And then at the end of that 2 years, somebody else is going to...
Well, are they giving him one more shot? Because he handpicked Chapek and that guy sucked. It's like they're like, well, you're going to get one more shot there, buddy boy. I mean, I'm sure they
Maybe he didn't. Maybe this is an indication that he didn't really handpick. Maybe he didn't really handpick Chapek. Maybe that's what was led to believe. Maybe they're crawling back to him because they were like, you know what, we really want Chopek to take over. Maybe it's time for you to step aside. He was like, okay, fine. You want to know what's really interesting is that because you know how Iger kept that executive that extra executive role up for months after Chopek took over.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
he's
it's
only
involved. Yeah.
from that role for 11 months.
So I just
He
looked.
held
Bob
that role up until
Iger is
11 months ago.
71.
What?
Bob Iger is 71.
Eh,
So he was well past his, I mean, unless he's a politician, he's well past his golden years. So it was definitely time for him to move on.
which is probably why he only said he would do it for 2 years.
Yeah, I mean, because we share a birthday. Because that's, I mean, 71. I know that it's not as old as it used to be, but he's not exactly a spring chicken. So I'm sure it was time for him to step aside. I don't follow Disney corporate as much as anyone does, I guess, unless you make money off of it. But people seem to like Iger. The company thrived for the last 15 years that he was there. I know Eisner got a lot of crap. When I think the head of Disney, I still think Michael Eisner because I'm old.
If you watch, I used to think that I used to not like Eisner, but then I watched a documentary and I realized that Eisner was fine and Eisner was great until that one guy died in the early 90s who was his like partner that helped him. It was like he was his Roy.
Yeah.
But that guy died like in an accident or something. I don't remember his name, but
Really?
he died. What?
Oh, I was just going to say, really good leaders, there should be two. There should be the money guy and there should be the ideas guy. And the ideas guy comes up with the ideas and the money guy figures out how to make it profitable.
I think
Needs to be two.
I think in this case, Eisner, it was the ideas guy that died. And I don't remember his name. Somebody probably knows off the top of their head. I don't. But that guy died, and then that was early 90s, just after, say, around after Indiana Jones. And then that led to that dark period that basically culminated in Dark Tomorrowland, as I call it, where as the Tomorrowland that was originally envisioned for that was going to be was much more what we would want from Tomorrowland.
Frank Wells.
Yes,
Frank Wells.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Frank Wells.
Wikipedia and Google.
What year did guy?
Googler.
What year did Frank Wells die?
1994.
Yeah. So like I said, right after Indiana Jones, then that led to a dark period, and Eisner was just kind of like, I don't think he was in it. Frank was like, he lost his right, the cliche of I lost my right arm type of deal. And I just don't think Eisner was in it after that. And then it was just kind of like inevitable that he was going to, and that just led to a lot of like I said, Dark Tomorrowland and all that stuff. And it could have been better. I think if Frank had lived, that the late 90s for Disneyland would have been a lot better than what they ended up being, especially that post 50th time.
I don't remember a lot of that time because I graduated high school in 1996, and from like 96 to probably the early 2000s, nothing was on my radar except college and getting a place to, making sure I had a place to live. So
I got my first pass in 94, so it was a big
deal.
Big deal for me, and that's when I was going with Diggs a lot. And
wasn't even aware of him. It was a chance going trip to Disneyland with my girlfriend, now my wife, where we looked at it and said, did you see the price on a pass? It's only like so much more than we paid for the ticket for the day. So we ended up, I think that night, we ended up upgrading it back to the booth and said, yeah, I'll give you if it was $40 for the day, it was $100 for a pass or something like that. So that's when it started and haven't looked back since.
Yeah. I don't know. I know everybody's excited about the rebirth of the Iger years. I would like to see cast members treated better. I would like to see Disney making the money that I have to spend there palatable. And I like to see the company thrive. They're a good company. I think they put out for the most part, they put out good content. And I really enjoy them. So I'm hoping that this is a way for him to kind of like reset, like do a Control Alt Delete on Disney. Chapek wasn't the right guy. Obviously, he wasn't the right fit. And Disney is spoiled. It's you have 15 years with Iger. What was it, 15 or something years with Eisner? And so Disney is
20-ish, I think.
Yeah, it's like they've been spoiled. Usually CEOs don't last that long. There's shelf life on CEOs with any management, really. My joke is if you don't like them, wait a second, they'll change like underwear. But they got spoiled. And so Chapek came in, and did they give him enough time? Who knows? He took over at a really bad time. Everything shut down, and it was a hot, disastrous mess. And then he's been fighting with the Florida governor. He's been fighting with the California governor. And it's like, bro, those 2 of your theme parks right there, you might not want to piss off the governors in those states since you have to operate there. And so he just wasn't making friends. He wasn't warm and fuzzy. I've already seen the email that Iger sent to the Disney cast members. It's been leaked, and it was basically like a warm, fuzzy.
I posted it on the group chat.
Yeah, and so it's like, I'm hoping. I like to see companies do better, any company. So I'm hopeful. We'll see. I wonder who he'll get to take over. Like I said, Josh Tomorrow is a name that I've been hearing kicked around, and people seem to like him. Disneyland seems to be okay.
That's the current Disneyland president, right?
The current Disneyland dude.
Yeah. See, it's weird because he's the one, like, when people know both of them, he's the one that is quote unquote better looking, more personable. That's what he is.
I've still heard rumblings that Kathy Kennedy and Feige are not out of the question also.
Is Kathleen Kennedy the one who said that everyone's fat and we need to cut portion sizes? Was that her? Or was that somebody else who worked there? Because I thought the CFO was talking about reducing portion sizes and basically...
She's not CFO. She's the CEO of Lucasfilm.
Yeah. Oh, okay. She's the different one. Because there's another... I want to say her name is Kathleen.
Don't get it wrong. She's just as hated. Like, lots of people hate her, too.
I don't think Aaron likes her very much. Because the name Kathleen didn't... It doesn't register like a positive thing. So I'm sure I've heard negatives about it.
Well, unless he's part of the fandom menace, then probably not. All of the people that hate Disney Star Wars, they hate her with a passion.
Yeah.
But they don't. They like to pretend that she didn't greenlight Mandalorian and the things that they do love, which is the most hypocritical part about those people.
Yeah, because the Mandalorian.
Let's avoid
the conversation. Debuted this weekend at Disney, and I saw a picture. Somebody I follow on Instagram was like, I am genuinely like upset with all these Disney adults, and I wanted to go, vloggers and influencers. No one could get near him. They actually had to call out legitimate Disney security to surround him and baby Grogu. Which is kind of sad that we can't get a group of adults to like have chill, but
because they have to get monetized for that. Got to be the first ones there because they got to have that video out.
I saw a video of that, but you know who wasn't being hoarded and stuff was M'Baku over at DCA. That's an amazing costume.
I don't think I've seen that one.
I haven't seen
pictures of it. I assume he debuted the same day Wakanda came out.
Oh. Wait, maybe I've seen pictures of that? I don't know. So I've been to Batu, the Batu area, multiple times since, not since The Mandalorian, haven't been there since yesterday, but since they debuted and Finnick.
Yes.
I've yet to see either one of them. And I'm there a lot because like that's my husband's literally his favorite place in the entirety of Disney is Batu. We'll spend hours just in Batu. And I've yet to see them. I
don't think there's any set times like other characters have set times that they're there. I think it's kind of randomized because they don't have in one spot because they're roaming characters.
Well, right. And
so that's part of it.
Roam, from what I've seen,
well, they're limited roaming.
Yes. And they roam mostly through the marketplace.
Right.
So like and I know where they come out. Like I've seen where they come out, and we sit over there a lot to like eat or just chill out. And I've yet to see them. And I'm like, what in the heck? I'd really like to see them. I want to see her. But I haven't seen them. But like, I guess Mando and Grogu are making an appearance something from like 10 a.m. ish till the afternoon, and it was like almost every hour. And he has like a set route. So these vloggers sat there and like one of the ones I saw, I'm going to use the word stalked for like a good 4 hours, 4 or 5 hours, just stalked him and then videotaped him. And I'm like, there are kids there who'd like to see this guy. Like maybe let the children see him. So
worst.
And that's what kills me. These are the same people complaining about what's her face and the fact that Disney effed up Star Wars. And I'm like, oh, did they though? Because first off, you're making money on them. And second, that land is packed all the time. Can it be better? Of course it could. It could be so much more than it is currently.
No, thanks for drop back.
I would love to see some of the stuff they talked about, like getting the stormtroopers and other people to like wander into Oga's Cantina. Like, I'll tell you, I have had some amazing cast members at Oga's Cantina who like have a whole storyline. They have a whole backstory. They could tell you that they were fishermen in some village. Like, they will spend some quality time. I have dropped so many cast compliments on my servers at Oga's, but it could be so much better.
And all of that stuff went out the window as soon as Oga's had to be so small.
I still think
it is. Oga's now was originally just supposed to be the waiting area for the cantina. What is Oga's now was just supposed to be the waiting area. But that's in.
And I could see why I could see how it could be better. But I'll tell you, the vibe in there, every time I've been, which is so much, I've been in there so much. I go there all the time. But anytime I go in there, the vibe in there is just awesome. Everyone's cool. It's a positive, uplifting place. Kids are in there going crazy. Adults, it's great. Throw a couple of stormtroopers in there. It'd be fine. It'd be totally fine. Like,
there's just no room for them now. That's the sad part about it.
They could go in because they could come in through the entrance, walk through, and there's a path to the back door. So it's possible. Is it as cool as it could have been? No, but I bet you if they had a way to do it, people would like freak out about it because they already do.
I think it could work. I think
it could still be done.
No, I think it would work because if you're in there and they're just passing through, everybody's going to get an interaction.
Mm-hmm.
So as they walk their route and stop at a table, say something to you, everybody's going to get an interaction. And I think that could be kind of cool. You can cover the whole bar cantina in 10 minutes. You cover the whole cantina in 10 minutes and everybody had an interaction that wanted an interaction because you in one door and out that back door over on the far side of the bar past DJ Rex, and it wouldn't be an issue. So that actually would be kind of neat. It could be another selling point, but I think the cantina by itself is a selling point. But I think that would be kind of neat and something different that I don't think people would, because you can't crowd around in there because it's based on availability. So, what I mean? It could work. It could totally work, and I could see it happening.
You get your 2 drinks.
Yeah.
45 minutes, and then you GTFO. Like they're on it. There is no screwing around. Like, you've got the only time that I've ever gotten longer is when we went there on a total off day one time and we opened the bar and our server was super cool and had nobody else in there. And he was like, "Do you want a third drink?" And we were like, "Yes, we do." And then we tipped him. I think I wanted to say I tipped that guy 40% or something. He was just an amazing CM, but they're very strict. If you go in there when it's busy, you're in and out in 45 minutes. Like, there's no messing around.
And see, but that's what Iger was always good at. He was good at recognizing what worked and what was popular. If anybody's going to make a cantina expansion possible and Oga's expansion possible, it'll be him. Because he's going to go around, he's going to see what's working and what's not working. And hopefully he's going to fix those things. And that has to be one of the major, besides making sure that Rise of the Resistance works correctly, that's going to be in his top 5 list of things probably at Disneyland that has to be made sure that is fixed. It's got to be the cantina has to be expanded because it has to be. There's no you can't just leave it like that forever. It has to be expanded, and they could do it. I mean, they have the backstage right there. I assume that's not being used. I don't know what's back there, but
nothing. It's a bunch of containers. That's the overflow area for Millennium Falcon. That's all it is. 'Cause I've been back there. I've been back there very briefly, or they had utilized it during the day and it was open.
Because obviously the original designs had that space allotted for the actual cantina, so I assume that the space is there for it. So I mean, it could be done. We'll see. See, that's the type of things that I hope that Bob is like. Okay, well, that canteen needs to be expanded like it was supposed to be. Let's get it done.
Just allowing Josh tomorrow the freedom
to do that,
make
right?
These kind of suggestions and say, hey, this is how to make these parks better, and Bob Iger giving him the green light or allowing him, the ability to do what he wants. Because every good leader understands and appreciates how to give freedom to the people they put in charge of projects. And so right. I would like to even see that, we
don't know how handcuffed Demaro has been under Chapek the last couple of years.
Yeah. And this is a good time to change the subject slightly and moving on to a different topic, because it's been half an hour. The Magic Keys, because this was a weird week because Magic Keys also went back on sale for about a day
and then
back off on it. No warning, nothing.
No warning. Not even in the rumor circles. I mean, somebody had to have known.
They turned on. They turned off. That was it. The rumor on the street is they were they were trying to boost those sales real quick. They were trying to show a win because they had lost so much money. But another rumor I heard was that they were selling stuff that people had chosen not to renew.
That's so these are keys that were already out. Yeah, there was only a set amount because it was only the ones that were up for renewal and didn't get.
Yeah.
Because
I made a similar comment to that. I just said, I'm like, well, they're probably replacing all the people that didn't renew. Also, it's interesting timing also having that happen the week before the Iger news.
That's actually why that was the transition there, guys.
Right.
Yeah. But that was to see kind of what happens now, because there's got to be a game plan. And for a long time, everybody was saying, oh, well, they'll do it next year in 2023. Well, they might, obviously. I think they still will. We now have to. It's a whole new game because you have to figure out now how it's going to work, because you added.
Now that makes me wonder, well, who came up with the Magic Key idea and the whole new pass idea? Was that a Demaro idea, or was that a Chapek idea? Because if it was Demaro idea, it doesn't give me much faith in that guy. But if it was a Chapek idea, okay, fine. Well, that tracks.
Yeah. So we'll see. But then, at the same time, I was talking to somebody else saying, well, everybody, oh yeah, you're rejoicing in all this, but you can't just all of a sudden take away things that are already in place. It doesn't work like that way. Like, Gina and I were talking, the cost is never going to go back down. You can talk about, oh, you're getting, it's just not worth the value. Well, no, it's not. It's never going to go back down. It's going to determine now. We get to see what is added to it as a benefit for us to keep going with this. That's what we're going to see, I think, here with the change in.
Do you get to be pass holders again, or do you just continue to be Magic Keys?
Right. I mean, yeah.
I don't have an issue with Magic Key. I don't even have an issue with them taking away the 1 week over Christmas. I mean, it sucks, but I like the parking. I like having free parking. I've actually surprisingly used the photo pass more than I thought I would, which was
that's all I wanted. I was finally surprised to give me that.
Yeah, I saw a tweet somebody or a lot of people wondering if one of the first things that Iger does will be to reinstate the add-on parking.
And it's like the parking is super important to me. Being able to go on weekends is super important to me. The discounts are nice because I do buy a lot of stuff there. I buy not only the food, but I buy a lot of the merch and stuff there. So it's nice to have that 20%. I buy a lot for my niece. She loves Donald. If you're selling Donald Duck merch, I'm buying it because how many times can you find Donald Duck merch, specifically when he's angry with his hat off? It's rare. So if I find it, I'm buying. But I don't really have an issue even with the blockout date, because I gotta be honest, I wasn't really going to Disney over Christmas. I'm supposed to go there on Wednesday with my friend. Her kid's sick, so we'll see if she has to reschedule or not. But I probably wouldn't even go this week anyway, because it's going to be like, you have to go there knowing it's going to be slammed. Like, you're going there and it's busy. And these people who are like, is it crowded? Yes.
That's always your answer.
Yes, it's crowded. It's Thanksgiving week, Brenda. Like, of course it's busy. What is wrong with people?
Meanwhile, I will go to Universal probably maybe a couple times in December, and enjoy in the not as crowded. And I will renew my Universal Pass in February and prepare for Nintendo World.
Actually, I'll do the same thing. That's actually on the plans.
I'm actually
a couple times in December when I'm blocked out from Disney, and then renew it because the cost is fair to check out the Super Mario stuff, Nintendo.
I want my sister to get there just because we love Nintendo so much.
But the thing is, there's just not as much to do there.
Talk about merchandise. They already have tons of Nintendo merchandise. They've had it for like 6 months.
They've had it.
They had the little what used to be the tiny Harry Potter store towards the entrance was turned into a Super Mario store about 6 months ago, but a couple months ago they switched it over, and now a whole section in the studio store at the end of the studio, the main at the far end of the studio store is now all Super Nintendo World stuff. But they just keep adding more and more. We've already gotten a couple cool things. I got a bomb fluffy keychain and a bullet little canister that holds mints.
I want to get her the Luigi Player 2 because she's my younger sister. So obviously she was Luigi all the time because I was Mario, and that's just the way it works. And then I wanted to get her some Princess Peach stuff because she loved Princess Peach. I love Toad. I'm thinking about going over to City Walk. So I'm chaperoning.
Yeah, they should have some of it in the studio store on City Walk.
Yeah, I'm going to go over there. I'm chaperoning a trip there with the seniors, but not until May. I don't know if I'm going to buy passes before then, but I think I might use that trip to see whether or not I want to buy passes to.
Yeah, we don't know. We don't know when it's opening yet. We don't know if they're going to go Harry Potter and open it during spring break like they did Harry Potter, or if they're going to go, that didn't work, so let's open it in summer.
Yeah, not even for that, like just to see.
But they have announced that they were going to use reservations. You're going to have to do reservations to get into the land.
Oh, they did announce that?
Yeah, they did announce that.
Yeah. Well, I've seen the one in Japan. So I follow, and he's Canadian, so he's an English-speaking vlogger, but he lives in Japan. And if ours is even a fraction of how freaking cool the one in Japan is, it's going to be amazing. It's going to be just perfect. And I love Nintendo.
It looks cute. It looks cute when you see it from the Starway, because when you're going down the Starway, I have several pictures of the progression of it.
Mm-hmm.
And it looks super cute. It's just a little section of bright green, and over in the distance near Transformers, and I'm like, that's cute. They already have one of the tubes up because you're going to enter through tubes, through pipes.
It's going to be great. I know it will. Like, there's really, honestly, it's Nintendo. Like, it's perfect. Nintendo is amazing. It's the last time I played video games.
Wow. I mean, there's still Nintendo, so I mean.
Yeah. I don't have a Switch or anything, but like old school, like
Switches are cool.
SNES. That's how long it's been since I've had video games myself.
Switches are cool. You can play a lot of throwback stuff on Switch that's like upgraded. Like you can play Mario Party and and they even have like upgraded versions of like the levels from the 64, or you can play Mario Kart and play levels from the old like DS and 64 games, but they look better. So that's the nice thing about Nintendo is they recognize their nostalgia. Something that other companies Disney doesn't do a lot. Although I don't know. Has anybody seen the Story of a Mouse yet?
No, I actually was going to bring that up, and I forgot that it came out.
Doing unless you had anything else to talk about, we can do a segue into Disney Plus stuff.
Well, real briefly, because it's on the tip of my tongue here and something that's fresh in my mind. I just saw Wakanda Forever. Have you seen it?
Okay. No, not yet.
No. Okay. So man, I'll be damned if it didn't start, because inevitably you knew it was going to have to deal with the death of Chadwick Boseman, and slight spoiler, it does at the very beginning, and I'll be damned if it doesn't bring tears to your eyes, the way that they handled that, even into the opening credits of the actual damn movie. But then after that, I went into this movie knowing, I'm going to see it. I thought Black Panther was a good film, but I didn't think it was like the be all end all of Marvel films. I don't even think Wakanda Forever is the be all end all of Marvel films, but I'll be damned if I didn't realize how long it was. It's over 2.5 hours long.
Yeah, it's long.
The running time was really long.
Does it feel like it?
No, it goes by pretty quick. There's some parts that are a little bit slower. I had to sneak out and use the restroom at one point, and I thought, this is a good scene to go to the restroom in. And when I got back, my brother was like, "Oh, you just missed this." Okay, yeah, I kind of knew that was where this was going, and I knew it would be a good time to sneak out and go use the restroom real quick. But it's good. I like it. We obviously get a new Black Panther in the film. Namor's backstory is interesting. How much of a spoiler do you want, Anthony? Because something was said.
No. I know most things. I just to preface. I'm not a huge Namor fan, but I have known of him all my life, basically, that I've been a comic book fan, and I've been intrigued by him. I just always thought Aquaman was cooler because he had more clothes on. Namor.
So that's the whole thing right now too. That's actually a whole thing.
And but I've been excited for the prospect of Namor ever since the MCU started, just because I wanted to see how they would do him. And he's like, of all Marvel characters, I don't know why he's always intrigued me of how they would do him, and it's intrigued me because they've waited so long. He is like the last of the super major of the ones that they had the rights to, the originals that they had the rights to, not counting like stuff X-Men and stuff like that. He was the last of what you would call the major characters that hasn't been done, because he was a Defender, and everybody who knew the Defenders, it was before Avengers.
Pre-Avengers, yeah.
That was pre-Avengers. Hulk,
Iron Man. Thor, wasn't Thor Defender?
No. I don't. Well, he was later, yes.
Yeah.
The original ones were actually just kind of what a lot of people would go on to think were as being villains, but
okay, so let's talk about that for a second, because if you know anything about Namor from the comics, you know that like he rides that line between is he a hero or is he a villain, based on what he does, and he does the same in the film.
Right.
So that part of it is done well. I don't know how much you want to get into. I'm not going to give you.
You can get into as much as you want. I mean, you don't have to give.
I just thought it was interesting. Because the actor is Mexican.
Yes.
So he's a Mexican actor, and the backstory becomes that he's Mayan, and that's where it comes from. So Mayan is spoken in the film, as is Spanish, and it's translated in a different color at the bottom of the screen. But to make him, I thought it was a really interesting take to make him Mayan, and to say this is why it is. It gives a little it gives something to everybody that's in his nation, I guess you want to call it, underwater, and why they're so nationalist isn't the right word, but why they're so protective of their culture and so protective of their nation. I thought that was done really well. Totally worth a watch. I'm happy. Like I said, Black Panther I thought was good. I think storyline wise, this might have been better. I had forgotten that Namor was the quote unquote villain in the movie. And then when it kind of came up, oh yeah, I forgot he was the thing. And I'm like, well, this should be an interesting take, because sometimes depending on who you are, what Namor wants might be good. What Namor wants might be bad. So it just depends because he's always going to defend his nation underwater. So that I thought that was done really, really well. And I'm
Yeah,
excited
no,
to see what
I was all for the relocation of
was it Atlantis?
It was Atlantis.
Okay, yeah. So
Namor's
they
from
don't call it that. It's a
and
it's a lost
it was I blame Marvel for not beating DC to the punch with Aquaman, but as soon as Aquaman was made, you knew that Namor was not going to be Atlantean.
Right.
Because that was going to be too much of a rehash. You couldn't
Although,
have because their stories are too similar.
Right.
They're similar characters. They come from the same damn place. They're just their backstories are different. That's all.
Right.
But,
and I actually was talking to my daughter after I got back from the film, and I was telling her that they call him Namor, but he pronounces his name Namor, and they call him Namor because he is El Hijo Sin Amor. That's what he's described as by the colonizers of the Mayans, and so I took that as my name, Namor. So that's how he pronounced it.
I'm glad there's at least an explanation for it because I mean you know what Namor is, right?
I
it's
don't
Roman
think I do.
Backwards.
It's what?
It's Roman backwards.
Oh no, okay. So I thought that was kind of cool. I mean, I knew that's not why his name is
the
that.
origins of Namor's Atlantis are Greco-Roman.
Okay.
So
yeah, okay, yeah.
Combination of Greece and Roman background, architecture, ideas, stuff like that. So
yeah, okay, that makes sense. But
whereas Aquaman Atlantis is almost, I think, straight. I mean, it might be a little bit of both, but I think it's more on the Greek side. But whereas that's why I always thought that Atlantis and Themyscira should have shared a backstory. But
Mayan deities even explained the wings on his ankles. So that part was kind of cool. And
that was always another key part of it.
He called himself a mutant. He said it. I am a mutant. And I grabbed my brother. I was like, you already said. He's like, yeah, he called himself a mutant. Like, Ms. Marvel, the TV show, canonized the word mutant. He called himself a mutant. So we know where this is headed eventually if we're using this term now, especially in a major motion picture versus just not that the TV shows don't have anything to do with the films. Of course they do, but this one's big for them to use it in one of the actual feature films. Mm-hmm. Okay, we know where this is headed. So it's worth the watch. I enjoyed it. I would watch it again. I thought it was done that well. Totally. Of course, having been almost an all black film,
right,
was amazing. So I thought that was all cool. And then I could see even some of my culture, with the Mayans in there. I thought that was cool too.
How does without any, I guess, spoilers, whatever you want to call it, how does Riri Williams figure into the story, and did she need to first appear in this movie, or could they just have waited until her series?
I can explain it. It's actually pretty simple. So there's a machine that's used. That's what gets Namor all pissed off to begin with, and she unknowingly invented the tech for an assignment, for a class assignment, because she's she's at MIT. She's at MIT. Yeah, she's at MIT.
Yeah, we knew that there was scenes filmed at MIT that involved her.
Yeah, so it was when they figure out who it is that invented that, and they go to speak to her. And then if you know Riri Williams, the character, she becomes Ironheart. You see the Ironheart costume does make an appearance in the film. So yeah, it's going to take off from there. This was her introduction and why she has the Ironheart suit. And then now it'll be the Disney Plus series. That's right. Is it next year? So at this point it has to be.
Probably.
At this point it has to be. And it's on 2022.
We're almost done.
Yeah, no, it was worth it. She's a good character. This is a good film for her to appear in, because it not only fits into that storyline, but culturally it fits in culturally too. Like, she just fits right in with her co-stars. And I don't mean that strictly from the way she looks. I just mean it just made sense. Like, when you look at it, you're like, this just makes sense.
Is she in it a lot?
Yeah, she's in it a good chunk of the movie. Yeah.
So it's not like one of those things where you think that maybe she was originally just supposed to be in after credits and then they moved her into the movie?
No, she's full on in the movie. She takes place even in the major battle scene at the end. She's a part of that. And then after the scene, there's always, the like kind of, let's wrap everything up and close all these pieces of the storyline that weren't done. She's even in that too. So that's done. No, there's only one scene during the credits that I won't get into because I'm not.
No, I already know about that. But...
Okay, so I'll leave that for the listeners.
I know, but the only thing I was going to say is that it's unfortunate the circumstances of the movie limited them to not have a after credits that led into something else because it's always fun.
Yeah. Man, you feel it. I just feel like with every scene that, because obviously they dealt with the funeral scene,
Right.
and then there's some other instances where his name comes up as T'Challa that you're like, there's no way the emotion in this scene isn't real. There's no way at all that the emotion in the scene isn't real, because unless you don't have feelings, like you're tearing up right now at this moment thinking about Chadwick Boseman. And I was even telling my brother, I thought Black Panther was a good film. I didn't think it was a spectacular film. I think he did a good job. I think he was a good man, but to know that he did all that while he was sick and hit it, that's the part that gets to me. He went full force in this, even though he was sick, and said, I'm going to make the most out of this out of I can, because it means so much to so many. And that's the hero for me. So I'll take that. So I felt that too. That opening damn scene, I'm telling you. You get a few tears in your eyes when you realize they're not just doing T'Challa, they're also doing Chadwick Boseman,
Right.
in this one scene. So I thought that was really good. Disney Plus, real quick, because I know you're going to go all over the place. Let me get in a couple other things real quick. Christmas has started at the parks. I was actually there. I was there 2 days. I was there on the 10th and I was there on the 11th. The 10th, the day before, just to see kind of what was going on, because all the decor was pretty much up. Beautiful as always. The garland is there, Anthony. On the 10th, it was up. It just wasn't lit. The tree was lit, but the garland was not lit on the 10th. I didn't stay after dark.
Anytime you can have garland on the streets, I count it as a win, which also means that Paint Night is not coming back.
So it was there. The only thing that was kind of weird on the 10th was that it felt very Christmas on Main Street, but there was no Christmas music playing on the music loop. It wasn't there. It was still, because it wasn't technically Christmas yet.
Right.
So went back the next day because it actually had a reservation at Carnation Cafe, which I'll get to in just a second. But that's when it was like, okay, yeah, now it's Christmas time, because the Christmas loop was playing. The parade was going by. Had a great time. I was actually able to go and see the first, and by first I mean the actual first lighting of It's a Small World for the Christmas season. I was right in front, because I don't know what we did. We ate, and then we're just kind of walking around a little bit, and I'm like, hey, let's go watch them light up Small World. It's early enough that if we go right now, we'll probably be pretty close to the front. We were in front. I was at the rope, and then by about 5-10 minutes before it was actually ready to do, because they kind of do it at dusk. They kind of say 5:15, but really it's at dusk. I turned around, and good Lord, the sea of people behind me. Well, I sent Gina a picture. The sea of people behind me was pretty massive, but it was pretty cool. Yeah, it was pretty cool. So that's only one time a night. They do that wintertime enchantment show a few times a night. So they'll turn off the lights on the castle, give it a little story, and then light up the castle. You see that. And then the tree, honestly, the tree is underwhelming. For them to light the Christmas tree is actually pretty underwhelming. But the day I was there also happened to be Veterans Day. So they did some kind of tribute. Gina said they were playing God Bless America. Was that what they played? Okay. And then they shot off some fireworks.
That's what they played.
So we were all, in front of Small World, and all of a sudden hear fireworks go off, turn around and see them. Then I was like, oh, they must be doing something because it's Veterans Day and it's flag retreat time. And that's totally what it was, which they don't do on a normal basis. They do the flag retreat, of course, but they don't do the fireworks and stuff. It happened to be because it was Veterans Day. So that part was kind of cool. Carnation Cafe itself, first time I'd ever been there. I've actually never eaten there.
Wow.
And it's just, you know what? Okay, so I'll talk about that in a second. But what we actually decided to do, my brother and I, and we've talked about this before, but we thought this was a good time to kick it off, was in the next year, from Christmas time to Christmas time, we're going to try to eat at every place that we can eat at in the parks. Minus the ODV carts, because it's the same stuff. And then any place I can't get into. So Club 33 I can't get into, 1901 I can't get into. Not going to do that. Parks only. So I'm not going to do the hotel. So that's taking out Steakhouse 55 and all that stuff. I'll do it at a different time. I'm not worried about that. Goofy's Kitchen, whatever it is. I'll get there eventually, but we just decided, you know what? I've never eaten at Tangaroa Terrace. Not Tangaroa Terrace. What's the one across from Jungle Cruise?
Bengal barbecue?
I've never eaten Bengal barbecue.
What?
I just have never done it. And that's when we started talking. We've just never done it. Why? No particular reason. Just haven't done it. So I said, okay, next year let's do it. Let's get every place that we can totally eat here. Let's just try to totally eat here.
I mean, to be honest, there's probably places I've never eaten at. I'd have to think about it, but
and that's how it happened. We really
there are some hidden gems, and I don't even call Bengal barbecue a hidden gem, but it's in such a high traffic area that it almost is, though. And improved it. They have improved it 1,000% from what it was, where the line was in the freaking aisle, but because they've managed to move it over. But what were you
Mobile
just
order.
They do mobile order now. Get
Yeah.
the bacon wrap. Get the bacon wrapped asparagus.
Thank you, Aaron.
Is so good. I was trying to keep you on mute. Oh, and then I knocked something over. Anyway, mobile order. Get the bacon wrapped asparagus, and I prefer the beef to the chicken. But Bengal Barbecue is one of my favorite places because it's meat on a stick, so it's like the perfect snack. It's so good, and the mobile ordering there is honestly amazing. It's very efficient.
Yeah, get any of the meats, but the chicken. The chicken can be dry sometimes. So, but you can get because in there also there's a pork or a lamb or something, right? Or what is it? There's another meat besides beef.
Oh, now I'm gonna have to look. I'm gonna.
It doesn't matter because I wasn't trying to let me try everything on the menu because that would take me forever.
No. If you're gonna go there, you should know what's the best thing to get.
Yeah. Well, any place that's on mobile order is gonna happen. The
Right.
sit-down restaurants are going to be a little bit more of a challenge, but then I have all summertime too.
The Harbor Galley, have you been there?
No, again, another place I've never been.
Another hidden gem, and it's not really a hidden gem because right across from the entrance to or the exit to Haunted Mansion, and it has the lobster roll, which is, but I mean, yeah, it's still a kind of hidden gem.
Have you eaten at Carthay Circle?
No. Again, another place I've never been at.
I have not eaten at the actual restaurant, but if you're willing to just call it Carthay and do the alfresco dining, it is the best to me. The food is smaller, but it's still very filling. And we just get the appetizers and it's good. And they have a couple of like signature old school looking cocktails. And if you could sit inside at the bar as opposed to outside, you feel so old Hollywood in there. It is the best, but the food is so good.
And let me tell you why this came up. Part of it, or why there's some places, because I've never even eaten at Lamplight, and I'll tell you why. It's because I'm always there at night. So it's not something that's an option. Either the place is closed.
You need to come out with me in the morning if you're tired.
And that's what's going to happen. That's what's going to have to happen because there's going to be some of these trips I know. Most of it I know will be with, my brother and my 3 kids, but then some of it I know like to do like Lamplight. Okay, I'm going to have to get up early and go with Gina.
Yeah, and most of those places, with the exception of Bengal, do close early because the next one I was going to mention also closes early, and that's Troubadour Tavern.
Right.
Have you been there?
Yes, I've eaten something from that. I don't remember what, but I have.
Okay, so you've been
even like Edelweiss snacks, the chimichanga. I think I ate that on my birthday. It was the very first time I'd ever eaten there. Yeah, that is a hidden gem for.
That's another hidden gem.
Slushies. Yeah, for the little slushies. Sure. Yeah, and that chimichanga tastes like one of those microwave burritos. It tastes like a microwave burrito, but you know what? I happen to like microwave burritos.
I think
so. Like it was actually pretty good. Yeah, I didn't mind.
If you
just
go
something to try something different.
If you go to Lamplight, I prefer the brunch to the lunch. And they have chilaquiles that are so good. They are probably the best thing on the menu. So if you go, but now they opened up boardwalk dining. So you don't even have to get a reservation to sit inside or downstairs. Like you can put in for it at the second floor. But if you're going to eat there, like I'll be honest with you, try to get yourself a brunch reservation on the weekend as opposed to the lunch. And it's just better food.
I got to give you my pass again so we can, I'll let you go for it. Just say, here, I got here. Okay. I'm in. Let's go. That's what'll happen.
I'm going to Carthay on Wednesday, and I managed to get those reservations for the alfresco really easily. But I don't want to spend just personally $55 for a steak at Disney. I'm sure it's delicious. It's a lot. I mean,
those kind of things are going to be split. So that's my brother and I. So we probably will split a meal when it's Blue Bayou or something like that. We're probably going to split a meal.
Blue Bayou's.
You're not eating at Blue Bayou?
No, I didn't say I wouldn't. I have eaten at Blue Bayou before.
Oh, I was like,
but when we go, it's like, the prime rib.
So you're going to eat at places you've eaten at again, or are you just trying to hit all the places you haven't been at all?
Honestly, a little bit of both. More emphasis on the places we've never been, but we go often enough with the kids that even with the kids, sometimes we hit 2-3 different spots in a day. So that's not hard to do. It's not
Right.
hard to say like, oh, this guy wants chicken tenders, which I can get over here, but this one wants pizza. There's 2 restaurants knocked out right there. And then
Yeah.
sometimes we'll be like, you know what? I really want that turkey sandwich from Jolly Holiday. Okay, 3 knocked out.
And
It's not, I'm
you
just like, okay, we ate here. I tasted it.
You could probably do the parks pretty easily. Look at expanding to maybe the hotels or even downtown Disney. So when I go there, I prefer sit down. I prefer that to quick service because if I'm gonna waste the calories, I want to sit somewhere. But they have so many like cool just lounges and bars, and the kids are allowed in almost everything up until a certain point at night. So you could easily go there with your kids if you wanted to.
Getting
But
them to get up in the morning is going to be the most difficult part.
and by
We're talking about teenagers.
By the morning, I'm talking about you can get there for lunch at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So it's still not that. Like most of these places serve families until 7 or 8 o'clock at night. So the alfresco dining in the bar, like there was a 3-year-old at the high top table next to us, and it was 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So it's Disney. They know
Yeah.
their patrons.
None of that is concerning to me. It becomes
Yeah.
more of what will the kids eat? Like they have to have something the kids eat because the kids won't eat it. I'm not spending the money.
So
That's
almost
why I know sometimes I'm not kidding when you're saying like, oh, Gina, we're gonna probably end up going. Like I probably will because my brother's always down to go on Sunday morning, and then like you, he's an early riser too, so he's like, let's get up, go, and be back by like 2 o'clock. Okay, that's fine. I can pull that one off.
And if you're ever with the kids, there are most of these places you can get something that kids will eat, like chicken fingers and stuff. Bengal barbecue, pork, mostly pork belly, chicken and beef.
I don't care if they eat it. I gotta eat it. So like I can go get one of those, and they can run over to the Tropical Hideaway and go get a.
I thought that they had pork.
Yeah, it's a pork belly skewer, and it is delicious. It is so good. But the bacon wrapped asparagus, one of my favorite things.
Anyway, so Carnation Cafe itself, first time I've ever eaten there. It was good. My brother ordered Walt's chili as an appetizer, which I tasted because the lactose thing. That's the other thing. I have to follow dietary restrictions because I can't eat the cheese. I tasted that and it was pretty good. The fried pickles, oh my God, the fried pickles were really good. Yeah, I would get those again in a heartbeat. And then amongst us, we shared the Parmesan patty melt, the turkey club sandwich, open faced turkey club sandwich, and then I had the gourmet burger, all of which were really good. I really like
something controversial.
Go ahead.
Walt's chili is basic.
It wasn't amazing. Like it was chili, and I think he got it because it's like Walt's chili, but it wasn't. I know people go crazy over it, but it's canned chili. Like yeah, people go over. What's the name of the place in Burbank? People go crazy for.
No idea.
Oh, the place that they serve chili over spaghetti.
By the studio. No, there's a place over by the studio that everybody always goes crazy for Walt's chili. Because that's where Walt used to take lunch.
Oh no, there's this place in Burbank that's on the other side of the freeway, way away from the studio, that serves chili over like spaghetti and stuff, and it's like 1,000 times better. No, don't. I won't eat it over spaghetti. I had chili dogs and then a bowl of chili, but there's people who like that. But that place is way better. But I don't. I got a can of Wolf Brothers chili that's better than Walt's chili. So don't even at me. If people want to get me mad, that's fine. There's people that swear by Walt's chili, but I don't like it, and it has too much tomatoes. I like my tomatoes cooked down where you don't know they're there, but the flavor's there. That's what I want.
Right. So I can't remember the name of the. It's gonna bug me. I don't know the name of that place.
Carnation Cafe for breakfast. Don't go there for breakfast. I mean, yeah, they got a Mickey waffle, but like, I'll be honest, I felt it was super overpriced and the food was basic. I'd rather eat a Ronto wrap for breakfast than go to Carnation Cafe.
1,000%.
And so I think Dan had a much better experience in the afternoon. So like if somebody's on the fence, do an afternoon.
I didn't want to eat dinner.
Not a breakfast.
Like, I was so full I didn't want to eat dinner.
I bet.
I mean I did, but
I haven't eaten there in a long time. I know that they're always you can't go wrong with like their chicken fried steak.
Well, if you're gonna fry something, it's usually delicious.
That's not wrong.
I'm a big fan of fried food.
I mean, because if there is something that Disney does right, it's fried chicken.
Okay. Anything else that's big you want to talk about? Otherwise, we'll get into Disney
No,
Plus
no, no.
stuff, and I think that'll take us home.
Country Road, take us home.
All right. Andor. You love an Andor?
Andor is awesome. Everybody's all caught up or what?
Yes. Well, I don't think
It's been
Gina's
on
gonna
in the house, but I'll be honest, I haven't really paid too much attention. But I know Aaron is in love with it. So whatever you're gonna say, if it's good, he's probably gonna agree with
I
you.
was just gonna say that Andy Serkis better not be dead.
Yeah, that was something else, man. But that episode had two great monologues between him and Luthens. Those
Andy
were
Serkis
amazing
and
monologues.
Stellan Skarsgård both deserve whatever praise that they can get for their performances. That whole episode should probably be nominated for an Emmy. But the unimportance of awards, quote unquote awards aside, that whole episode and that both of those actors deserve all the praise for that monologue by Luthen is under kind of underscored by the Andy Serkis monologue.
Yeah.
But yeah, they both put on top performances. I mean, yeah, I can't even. Right.
Talking to one of my other softball buddies here, he was saying this is the Star Wars that adults want, that were fans of the original movies and can handle the drama, because some episodes are very dialogue heavy and not so much in action, but the development pays off. And I can't disagree. Like I really, it's that good.
I've said it before, but this is the Star Wars that I wanted while everybody else was excited for Mandalorian.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that. I was just gonna say I think you're gonna pick this over
I was waiting for.
Yeah. This seems more like a Star Wars thing than some of the Mandalorian did. That makes sense, and I think that makes sense to you. But now that I say it, I'm like, does that make sense? Yeah, I think it does.
It makes sense. It does make sense.
I'm very happy with it. I'm excited for this next episode, which is the last of the season, and then see where we go from there. But I think it's done really well.
Yeah, just the only misstep, and I'm sure they're gonna break it together and make us be like, okay, it was fine. Little Norman Bates, he's still just Batesing it up, being creepy. Now he's off to join the fray.
And that ISB officer. There's still something to that ISB officer. The female.
The woman, Deidre. I mean, she's a badass. I mean, she's ready to kill some people to find out what she wants to know.
But she hasn't made her move yet.
No.
And you keep wanting to see like when's she going to make her move? Is she going to make a move with Norman Bates? Because that was suggested. Dare I say there was even a little tension between the two as far as maybe a relationship. Is this going to? It was there. It was kind of teased. Like, is there something here? Is she going to see something in him? I don't know. We'll see. We'll see in this next episode. Wednesday can't come quick enough.
Exactly. And then we'll be done with that. And then I don't even remember what's the next Marvel or Star Wars thing that's going to start up is what?
I still haven't seen. I didn't get a chance to do Tales of the Jedi. I didn't get a chance to see that.
Right. So. Okay. Well, that's all right. I mean, you'll get it done if you want to talk about it next time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Make sure write it down.
I got time this week because we're not doing anything, and then I just found out my plans for the weekend got canceled. So I got a little bit more time here at home than I had thought. I would have gone over there and watched stuff anyway, but I don't know. So yeah, I don't know. I'd have to look up the next Star Wars project. Gina had Santa Claus on deck, so I'll talk about Santa Claus.
Yeah, I know that Tim Allen is questionable as a human. So I just kind of put that aside, honestly, when I watch his stuff, when I watch anything. I'll tell you, it reminds me a lot of that third one. So is it great?
So the one that nobody liked.
Yeah,
the one that nobody liked.
The one that didn't have Bernard.
But I liked it. I liked it for what it is. It's like Hocus Pocus 2. It's nostalgia. It's hokey. It's corny.
It doesn't feel the same.
Well,
or do you know that it's Tim Allen now? Who's running the show?
Well, honestly, I just am trying. So I do this thing where I have two different people, and there's Gina, and then there's Mrs. my last name. And when I'm a teacher, then I get all political, but like as just who I am, I try to take like all of that stuff and not go into something watching.
We're
Like
trying to compartmentalize
I do. I have to.
from the show.
Person. So I went into watching this as just like I don't know anything of his I don't know anything about his like crap. I do, but I like just pretended like I'm just gonna go in this and take this for what it is. If you go in and you're looking for something like, oh, he's anti-woke, there's like the one thing he says about like we can't have bad kids anymore. And honestly, it was such boomer energy that I just like looked at it like one of my aunts posted it on Facebook or some bullshit. It, it's cheesy, it's corny. I thought it was a good time.
There is supposed to be a lot of religion coming in later episodes.
If the religion shows up, then and it shows up. I mean, Christmas is rooted in a form of Christianity, so like
what? No, how dare it?
Yeah, whenever I look at it, I have to know that like there's something that's going to talk about, you know, religion at some aspect, but
there wasn't really any religion in the movies.
As of right now, I've only seen the first 2 episodes they released. There was nothing religious about it. There was one thing about something being woke, and like I said, it gave great boomer energy. He's very, I'll be honest, he acts really pissy in the movie, kind of like he should retire. So like you almost buy it. Like, yeah, it's time for homie to retire. I do like what they did with his son, living in Florida with his wife and his kids, and how he wants nothing to do with the North Pole. I like that vibe. I like how his kids are just bumbling fools, and it's obvious that he had them so late in his life that he literally has nothing in common with these 2 kids. So I like those aspects. Can you go down like a political rabbit hole? Yeah, I mean, you could. As of right now, I don't see anything in it in the first 2 episodes that would leave me there. So if you're a right-wing person and you're like, oh my God, I can't wait for all this woke Disney shit to be over because Tim Allen is in control, I think you'll be disappointed. If you're a leftist, there's like a couple of things, but like I said, it gives Facebook boomer energy. So like I wasn't overly sad about it.
Well, unlike the terrible people of the internet, I'm not going to hate watch it and then talk bad things about it. I just won't watch it because you know you can just not watch things that you don't want to watch because you don't get allowed, rather than hate watching things and then complaining about them on the internet.
Honestly, I respect that more than hate watching it. I like the Santa Claus. I liked all 3, even the one no one liked. I like the 3rd one because I think they're campy and silly and stupid. And so I like that sometimes.
I like Bernard.
Yeah, I miss him. Bernard was awesome.
Was not in the 3rd one, and Bernard is only, from what I hear, only in 1 episode of the show, and that's just wrong.
So the new one has a girl. She's married to this idiot. He's like the idiot friend of Santa. Like he's Santa's babysitter on the sleigh now. I don't know. But the girl in the episode, very Bernard-like.
Joe Rogan.
I know.
His idiot friend should be like Joe Rogan or something.
No, it's this like bumbling little fluffy kid. I have no idea.
Oh, it's a kid.
It's an elf. So
the elf kid. Okay.
But the girl who plays his wife in the episode, she's giving like Bernard and Judy vibes, like very like on it. And I'll give you this, Mrs. Claus is over it in these 2 episodes. She's sick of looking like an old lady. Like she's ready to go back to being like a hipper version. She's tired of the misogyny. So I don't know. I guess you can look at it in a variety of ways. If you're looking for a way to kill some time, I say check it out. Again, I just go into things.
I've got plenty of
better
things to watch.
Oh, I'm sure there's a million better things to watch. Like
I wasted an hour yesterday watching the newest short movie of the newest incarnation of My Little Pony, which we're trying to trudge through because we think there might be some payoff, but the writing has been atrocious on this new incarnation of My Little Pony. The movie was good, but all of the little movies and the series that have been since then have been horrible. and we're just there's only supposed to be a little bit more, and we're just trying to see if it has some payoff. But so far, it's been enough waste of my time to not waste my time with Tim Allen. So
Well, we
plus,
watched
I got
it.
done watching 12 seasons of Bob's Burgers.
Well, I'm not gonna spend my time there, but oh, and I
That
definitely
was amazing time spent, I'll have you know.
it's not Disney, but I'm definitely gonna go back and watch the sequel to A Christmas Story. I am watching that. I haven't watched it yet, but I want to go see that. I gotta be honest,
I do want to see that.
if they remade literally any Christmas movie I grew up on, Scrooged, they could remake Bad Santa again. I'm in. I'm watching it.
Actually, also not Disney, but maybe pop over to Apple Plus and watch Spirited with Will Ferrell and Ryan Reynolds. It's basically Scrooged remade.
Definitely want to do that. Because like these are things that I genuinely I'll watch a Christmas Vacation movie multiple times this season. I like those kind of things. I don't know. I don't even know if the Santa Clauses is like a feel good family Christmas show.
Actually, if you that you would know what was well time spent is that I hadn't seen the original Enchanted. So I went ahead and watched that, and then we went ahead and watched the sequel, and they're both really good. So I think that if you want to spend better time than watching Tim Allen, I would suggest that if you've never seen the original Enchanted, then you should probably watch that, and then Disenchanted. And if you've already seen Enchanted, well, you've probably already watched Disenchanted because you're a fan. So
there's only so many days I'm off this week with stuff like but I did it with Hocus Pocus, so I'll probably have to do it with that too. And I've always heard the Enchanted was good. I just have never sat there and watched it.
It was really good. I really liked McDreamy was actually really, really, really likable in that movie. Whereas he had to spend half of the first movie being kind of grumpy. He's really fun in this movie.
Can we get the breaking news noise?
Dip, 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 dip.
Variety is reporting that Iger just made his first move, and that is releasing the head of, what is the title? Media and Entertainment Distribution. Kareem Daniel was just let go today, who's the one who was in charge. Yeah, was in charge of making sure the stuff was streamlined on the Disney Plus network through COVID-19. So this is going to have implications, obviously, for the way Disney Plus operates. So we'll see. But first
Disney Plus lost a lot of money. But all of the streaming services have lost money because we're not trapped in our houses. So yeah. I think all these companies need to understand. Also, I know a lot of people, me included, I left cable, I cut the cord, and now I'm like, can you give me back cable? I have so many freaking streaming services that I'm bleeding money, and some of them suck. And now they're like, oh, and now we're gonna charge you more, or you'll have to watch a commercial anyway. And I'm like, I can't do this. That's why I left you all in the first place.
I still like all of the streaming services better than cable.
Interesting to
and
note that
it is still cheaper than cable, and you get more for what you pay for.
Again, interesting to note that Disney is talking about going to this tiered system with ads and stuff too, like making a cheaper version for ads and stuff too. That coupled with the fact that when they were releasing stuff, the stinking the premium to pay the premium price to watch those for Jungle Cruise and for Onward or wherever it all, which I still actually have never seen, and all those films, did that work out? Because it doesn't seem like it really worked out. Not like they thought it would.
Well, they didn't do it anymore. It was just a necessary thing at the time.
Yeah. So
right.
I mean, is this looking at all that? Because you got to imagine in his position before that he was paying attention to what was going on, because he was still technically part of the company. So
right.
I don't know. We'll see. I assume in the next couple of days we're going to see some more movement of people and executives let go and new ones brought in, because obviously the board wants Disney profitable and moving in a direction that he was moving in before he stepped down. So this is going to be an interesting week, to say the next few days, because unless they release a bomb on Thanksgiving, we've already got a lot of news.
Well, you would think that people at that level would at least take Thanksgiving and Friday off. You would think, maybe.
I don't know. They were out to Elton John concert and got an email, so we'll see. I read something a little while ago that said they knew Iger was going to do that on Friday, and Chapek wasn't told until Sunday. So that leads more credence to your argument that, like, hey, they wanted Wall Street to open with this.
Right.
Let them know the last minute. Yeah, he already agreed to it. Hang tight to that info. We'll drop it on Sunday, so it goes up. So, corporate America.
Right.
How I love thee.
Anyway, any last minute things before we sail into the sunset? As well, I think it's dark already.
No, there's just a lot of other content on Disney Plus coming, and other streaming services. A lot of shit coming.
You had asked what's next for Star Wars. It's Bad Batch and then Mandalorian. Bad Batch in January, Mandalorian.
Right. And as far as what's next for Disney Plus, Willow next week.
Oh,
you can have that. Never even seen the original.
I think I saw the original back when it came out on VHS. I haven't seen it since, but it was it's worth giving it another look-see, I guess.
It's a good movie.
Quantumania trailer drops with Wakanda, with the Black Panther movie. It looks good. We knew this already, but we're getting Kang the Conqueror is going to probably be the big baddie for the next phase of the MCU, because I think Black Panther is the end of 4, right?
Yeah, Black Panther is the end of 4. Now we're moving. Quantumania will start phase 5, or I believe we'll start phase 5, and will lead to culminate into the 2 Avengers movies,
2 Avengers films,
Kang Dynasty, and then Secret Wars.
Yeah, lots of stuff coming. I'm opening Disney Plus to see if I see anything that worth mentioning.
I mentioned earlier at the very beginning, you said you wanted me to wait on to mention it, was it started with a mouse.
The
new documentary on there about the Mickey Mouse, and there's been a lot of accusing Disney of sanitizing its own content, but this continues the trend of Disney not sanitizing its content, though, like we saw in the Imagineering documentaries and some of those other documentary series
that's true.
Disney Plus, where we saw some very unsanitized comments from people. This continues that, because they do address some of Mickey's controversial nature in his early days, both being very mean, being kind of racist, blackface at one point. So it's another. I was kind of leery of watching it because I'm not a huge Mickey Mouse fan, but B, it did all start with a mouse, and I was interested in it. But this makes me even more interested, because knowing that they don't pull any punches on his early days, and hopefully don't pull any punches with who deserves responsibility for the creation of Mickey Mouse, Mr. Iwerks.
Yeah, Iwerks. Yeah. What's the name? Have you seen that movie? The movie that John Hader's in?
About
John Hader. Yeah, about.
No, I haven't seen it, but I know of it.
Yeah, it started with Walt. It's called something like that. It's right. Actually, it's a pretty good movie. I'm not much into the animated shorts that come out afterwards, but the Zootopia series is out now.
Zootopia Plus was amazing.
Okay.
Almost all of the actors came back to reprise their voices, I believe, except Shakira. But she's a busy woman, and she's evading taxes or something.
I was gonna say, she's trying to stay out of trouble
somewhere. But no, all of the voice actors come back. All 5 segments are amazing. The Flash and his girlfriend at the restaurant, just absolutely hilarious. If you guys should definitely watch those if you're
as long as it's only a set number of.
Oh no, they're very short. They're
series?
No, there's 5 episodes, I believe.
Okay.
They're only each 9 minutes long or something like that.
Okay, that I can handle. Much as it work is a little much.
It's more of what you would call as Genny Tarkovsky coined the micro series.
Okay, yeah, I'm a fan of that. Or the Mater ones that were short. Right.
It's like that. You could just sit down and you can watch all 5 of them at once. Almost the same with Tales of the Jedi. You can those are
they were short.
micro series. You can just sit down and watch those all at once, or maybe at least that one in two settings because it's 6 episodes. But yeah, a lot of good content on there. You can just sit down and watch real fast. That's but yeah, the Zootopia stuff was amazing. The animation quality is just as good as the watching. And then a lot of it is very Rosencrantz and Guildenstern are dead. Is that there's some of these stuff is taking place during Zootopia.
Oh, okay, that's kind of cool.
So you could actually be like, oh, that must be taking place right before this happens, or
yeah.
Same time as this, or you could see events of Zootopia, the movie, taking place in the background.
Oh, that's cool.
Okay. Yeah, one of those types of things.
That's interesting.
One that doesn't really fall into that, I think, is the a couple of the ones at the end, but at least 3 of them are like kind of ones that are taking place simultaneously. So they're very fun, very fun. I mean, even Idris Elba comes back as a Bogo in one episode. The police chief.
Yeah.
Water Buffalo.
Yep.
He even comes back and does that. So
I hear his voice right now. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that was very fun. I almost forgot about that until you brought it up.
Avatar trailer also came with Wakanda, and all I have to say is meh. Yeah. Actually, it's interesting that James Cameron said that if this one doesn't do well, that they're done with them. But there's already 2 other ones in production. They're gonna finish those. They're just not sure they're gonna.
Really, Avatar. I'm interested in is a trailer for the Avatar Last Airbender live action series on Netflix.
The interesting thing about this is Avatar is going to do well just from people's curiosity, but it does not have the sustaining power of any other.
Avatar.
I didn't even like the first one.
Because it's not a good movie. It's a mid movie at best. Like, I know overseas it did really well and it's still really popular overseas. It really is because it was an increased ticket price because of 3D sales. Like, when that 3D, remember, because after that a bunch of people tried 3D stuff and they just never caught on. Star Wars did 3D. They only did the Phantom Menace in 3D, and then stopped.
They're going back to 3D.
Are they going back to 3D for that?
Yeah, I think it's in 3D because even the re-release
is done.
Even the re-release of the first Avatar in theaters is in 3D, I believe.
Do you even? I don't even buy into the 3D thing. It's never really that good.
I haven't watched ever since.
It makes me nauseous.
Ever since Dolby theaters became a thing, I only watch in either Dolby or IMAX now. I haven't watched a 3D movie in probably about 6 years.
I can't even remember what's been released in 3D. And I honestly think, even having seen movies in 3D, I think the 3D they did for Muppets and for PhilharMagic is better than the 3D they did for the freaking movies. And that's sad. That's literally sad to say, but I'm like, oh, I see that coming at me. Instead of like, oh, look, that Death Star looks like it's right in front of me. No, that freaking flute was thrown at me in PhilharMagic. Like, I don't understand how that works. Like,
I think that Cameron thinks that he's gonna get a Force Awakens effect on this movie.
And he's not.
I think that's what he wants. Because he wants people to have that same interest to come back to see what after all these years.
I think he hasn't made a movie for a while and he's broke.
Well,
no, well,
depends
what he does sign, because Terminator and stuff. I mean, it depends.
No. He has other stuff that he has other, because he does like documentaries and stuff. And he produces other things that's like not directly him, but he still has his other things that he has going on. So he's never in the pot. He's never going to be hurting, and he's never going to be hurting for things that we might actually be interested in that aren't Avatar.
Right.
You know, he has other ideas that I care about. Avatar is just not one of them.
Strange World comes out this week.
It looks like a video game.
It looks cool. I'll check it out. It's a
play. I will watch it. I'm more interested in it than I am in Elemental, which just looks like a rehash of Inside Out with elements.
Yeah.
With fire.
That'll give you. Yeah. Strange World looks cool.
That trailer came out just recently also. I am interested in Strange World. I will wait until it comes on Disney Plus.
Which will probably be beginning of the year.
Right.
Into February. Because this one's not doing a simultaneous release. This is the first Pixar movie in since 2020 that didn't get that. Because Turning Red and Soul Journeyman and Soul both came out Disney Plus same day, so we'll see. Interested in that. Okay, I think that's all I got. Anybody, anything? Last minute thoughts? Anything?
No, I'm sure I'd probably think of something afterwards.
I did not watch the Elton John concert. I have no intention of watching the Elton John concert. Thank you very much. I was much happier seeing The Descendants last night.
Oh, okay. Not an Elton John fan. That's fine. That's your prerogative.
Nope. Tarzan. Yeah, that's a good song. As a whole, no. Rocket Man.
Tarzan. That's not Elton John.
Oh no, it's not. Oh no, it's
Lion
not.
King.
It's what's his name?
Lion King.
Yeah, Lion King. Yeah.
Tarzan is Phil Collins.
Yeah. Well, I don't like him either. I don't like Phil
Wow.
Collins.
Okay.
Yeah. That's just that kind of soft rock is just not my thing, man. Like you ought to know that by now. It's just not my thing. I can appreciate that people like it.
It's what my parents played when I was growing up. So,
it's not what my parents played when I was growing up.
That's just it's a difference of upbringing. Yeah. That's all.
I also grew up on Coast 103 with the Elton John soft rock hits, and then on the other hand, my dad played Motown. So
I got that.
Or if it was that,
I'm big. I've always, since I was a kid, because my parents have always been a big Elton John, Barry Manilow, Neil Diamond, the whole
that classic love song
or whatever of classic soft rock. I've always been into them. So I mean, I know Barry Manilow especially has got a lot of people who get a lot of heat for being Barry Manilow fans, but hey, I'll own up to it. I don't care. I like Barry Manilow.
Go to the Copacabana and like. Yeah.
And no, I did not read his wardrobe.
Oh, that's so bad. They're just so bad.
It's time to sue Studio on out of here.
Yeah, there you go.
Terrible. I was freaking terrible. All right, real quick. I think this is on the tag at the end, but follow us on YouTube at the Disney Culture, where Gina and I post nonsense, but it's funny and people seem to like it. We've got that. My Instagram is Dan's Disney Adventures. I post stuff when I'm at the parks and just stuff I think is cool. TikTok at Danzig77, DANSZIG 77. A lot of the stuff that gets posted there also gets posted on the YouTube page. You know us, we're the anti-influencer, non-influencers.
Yeah, go join Hive when Twitter dies.
Yeah, right. Twitter's, I'll look at Twitter for info, like up to the minute info, but even less so now, just because, I don't know, that's really difficult to get any kind of following. I don't really care about the following. I really just am there to make you laugh. So follow us and get a laugh, because we're always doing something. Get a laugh. Stupid kind of nonsense. Yeah. Oh, it's have a laugh. That's Disney related, right? Have a laugh. There you go. So we'll do that. So, all right. Anything else? That's it.
Have a good one.
All right. Happy Thanksgiving to you all. I'm sure I will talk to you soon. Actually, Gina and I will be at the parks. This will probably drop on the Tuesday before Thanksgiving, so we will be there on Wednesday. Having fun, up to more foolishness. I know that's what I'll be doing. And then I will be there we'll talk before, hopefully, but I will be there for candlelight. I have a reservation for candlelight. And then I will be there during the day on my brother's birthday, which is the week after candlelight. And then I'm booked on the 20th, and I'll probably go sometime in between then. So I'm looking to do about 3-4 trips here still before Christmas. And then I'll jump in that next week just before Christmas ends to get in. And then we head into whatever else the Bob Iger era redo is going to give us. So, all right.
Bob Iger 2.0.
Yeah, era 2.0.
Disney Culture is a part of the Extraordinary Culture podcast universe. Follow my Disney stuff on IG and YouTube at Dan's Disney Adventures. Follow my Disney stuff on TikTok at Danzig77. It's DANSZIG 77. Thanks for listening. See you real soon.